The Chicago Sky start off their second half of the season with a big blowout loss to the Phoenix Mercury. Before I even talk about what happened on the court, I've got to say that some big news came out before the game, and it was that Kennedy Carter was downgraded to out with illness. This was really big for the Sky. It was a big hit because she's been their best scorer. She can get to the rim, she can get out in transition, and that was definitely needed in this game. For the game, there's not a whole lot to say for the Sky, seeing as they only won one quarter, which was the third quarter. The offense tailing off without Marina Mabry because she got traded, and without Kennedy Carter, like the offense tailing off was to be expected. But the Chicago Sky just gave up an unacceptable 30 points in the first quarter to their 12 points that they scored, and they had to play catch up for the whole game, which never happened. They could never string together a run that really threatened the Mercury, so for most of this game, they were playing from behind, down like 15 to 20 points, and it was just extended garbage time for most of the game. The offense and defense were bad, but to hone in on what specifically sunk them, I have to talk about the tandem of Kahleah and Brittney. They were the leading scorers for the Mercury. Kahleah shot it well from everywhere and was able to get to the rim at will. The Sky had no one for her. But despite Kahleah leading the Mercury in points scored, it was actually Brittney that was a better overall player in this game. I don't have the numbers here, but a post up from Brittney Griner on Kamilla Cardoso had a very high success rate, which is crazy because they're similar sized players, but Kamilla just had no answers for her. She couldn't affect her shots. Despite Kahleah scoring more points, Griner was treated as sort of an offensive hub, and she received a lot of attention, especially in the second half when it was clear that Cardoso couldn't contain her. So they sent soft doubles at Griner, but they never really committed to a full-on double team, so she was able to keep on scoring. And she impacted the game so much on the defensive end. The Chicago Sky had no consistent jump shooting, so I expected them to speed the game up. Like that worked against the Las Vegas Aces, but that was not the case in this game. They played a very slow-paced brand of basketball, which allowed Griner to just set up and block everything. She had 5 blocks and had the paint on lockdown. And while the Sky couldn't get out in transition that much, the Mercury were able to get a lot of easy points and open threes, so they were able to execute their game plan well. All right, it's time for Chicago Sky player grades, grading their performance in this game, to which none of them are going to get an A. Getting an A in a loss is possible, but it's a blowout loss where no one really shot well, so there's not a lot of flowers to give out. Also, everyone was bad at defense, so it's not worth mentioning. It's just going to automatically be factored into their grade. Starting with Lindsay Allen, she's going to get an F. She shot well, but she only had 5 points, and that's my problem with her play style. She's too timid. She's not a willing shooter, which complicates things for the offense. She just isn't a threat scoring wise, and in a game where Kennedy Carter was missing, and as the point guard, as the floor general, you have to know what's needed of you for this team to succeed. So 4 shot attempts just wasn't enough. Easy F. Angel Reese is going to get a D. Gets a higher grade than Lindsay because at least she was trying out there, trying to make something out of nothing and get to the rim, get to the free throw line. So I like that. But she shot 4 for 14 from the field and 3 for 8 from the free throw line. Also, I've never been a double-double hater. I was actually in favor of it when the streak was going on because it was historic and it brought eyes to the WNBA, a league that desperately needs any exposure that it can get. So I was never against the double-double streak. With that said, her double-double tonight was completely unnecessary. She had like 9 points and subbed into the fourth quarter with like 6 minutes left, down 20 to get the double-double. It's like might as well go for it when she's that close, but I just feel like after getting this beat down, no one deserves to walk out of there with their heads held high or feeling like they accomplished something. Next up is Kamilla Cardoso. She's going to get an F. Now, she couldn't guard Griner, and while I don't think that she was garbage at defending her, she just wasn't the answer, so I can't give her any credit there. Then she was subbed out for the relevant portions of this game because Isabel was looked at to be a better matchup for Griner, which obviously didn't pan out. Then Cardoso got unleashed in fourth quarter garbage time. I don't agree at all with limiting Cardoso's minutes, but I'm not playing hypotheticals. I'm talking about what actually happened out there on the court, and she just didn't provide much because of the short leash that Teaspoon had on her. So that's the main reason why she's going to get this low grade. Not really because of her performance, but she just didn't play enough minutes, enough relevant minutes. Next up is Rachel Banham, and she's going to get a D. She didn't shoot well. She's not a shot creator, but I liked when she was able to play finish rather than create. So I'm hoping that she gets put in more positions like that. Next up is MacLeod. She's just going to get an F. She had a good game against the Aces, and I thought that she could slide into that Marina Mabry slot and hit a few 3-pointers a game, but that was not the case, as she shot 0 for 4 from 3 and just didn't provide the scoring punch that was needed from her. Next up is Dana Evans, leading scorer for this night and the best player. She's going to get a B-. She still turns the ball over too much for my liking and can't make an entry pass to the post, but she was really good at scoring tonight, so I'll give her that. Next up is Isabel. She couldn't stop Griner, but no one could. She made a few jumpers, so she didn't have a bad performance, but it wasn't a good one either, and everyone is going to get points taken off for this game being a beatdown, so a C- is a good grade for her. Next up is the last relevant player in this matchup, Diamond. I like the energy that she brought, trying to get up shots and energize this slow offense, but she didn't convert on much, so the highest grade that I can give her is a D. And for Mariah and Brianna, they're just going to get Fs. They had very limited play, and Brianna just had donuts across the board, so easy F. The Chicago Sky are back in action on Saturday. They will play the Los Angeles Sparks, which seems like a golden opportunity to get a win, but in this crazy league, anything can happen. Nothing is guaranteed, so I'll just see how it plays out. But yeah, that is all for now.